and welcome back to Around Our World in 80. Today we're actually going to start off another series that I have going on. Now that I knew I was going to have a bit more time than I am used to, I committed to myself that this year I was going to read a book a month. Some are going to be more maybe business style books where it teaches you how to start a business or pursue your passions or something like that, and others might just be pure entertainment. But I think I have a pretty good mix of books this year, and so I thought I would share what I'm reading and why I read them and why I think they're a great book or not a great book. I don't know, maybe there's going to be some books that I don't like, but I thought that it could be helpful to y'all and maybe something you guys want to add to your reading list. So today I am talking about a book that is called The Wisdom of Walt. I know, surprise, the Disney nerd is reading a book about Disney. But this book was done by an author named Jeffrey A. Barnes, and it takes the history and the current doings and goings of Disneyland, and it takes it in small vignettes and then brings about a life lesson from each of those vignettes. And honestly, the reason why I wanted to read this book was because the author of this book is actually a professor, and he actually teaches history, but he also created a whole class just on the history of Disneyland. And as a huge Disney fan, I really want to take that class. But considering that I'm not going to be going to the University of California at LA anytime soon, this is the closest I could get to attending the class. One of the other things that I was actually very surprised about with this book is he also divulges some of his own personal life and talks about how lessons from Disneyland helped him in his personal pursuits of his passions in his career, specifically this Disneyland history class. And it was very insightful and very encouraging to know that somebody else who's gone through similar experiences or has done something similar to what I want to do came through, you know what I mean? The other thing that I love about this book is he doesn't just go into how to run your business. I mean, obviously that's a major factor of the book, but he also talks about how the life lessons that he is talking about can be applied to your personal life, to your family, to your friends, to just pursuing what you love in general and developing your life into something that you actually want it to be, instead of just haphazardly going through life, not planning things or not pursuing your passions and then ending up with regret. And along those lines, this book really helped me clarify a lot of my passions. It allowed me to kind of take stock of the things that get me excited, get me eager to, stay up all night and work on. Not that I've been able to do that with the newborn, but it's been very helpful for me to hone down to what is it that I'm passionate about and what do I want to do now that I'm kind of at a fork in the road with my life. Not only did it give me clarity on what I want to do or what my passions are, but it also gives you structure on how to bring those things that are just in your head out into real life. I mean, that's basically what Disneyland was. Disneyland was taking this crazy idea that Disney had one day on a park bench and turning it into what we know today as Disneyland. So what I just talked about was basically the first half of the book, and then the second half of the book was more about when if I develop a business or when if I develop this passion, what are some important things to think about? Talking about how to create e-ticket experiences, where we have these incredible attractions that people want to come back to over and over again. It talked about how to treat people. It talked about how cast members are treated and then how those cast members treat the guests of Disneyland. There's a lot of quotes in this book. I mean, I took notes like crazy. He just has so many little nuggets that are fantastic to apply to life. There was a couple that spoke to me very loudly, especially for the time of my life that I'm in right now. The first one is saying, remember that we learn far more from our failures than our successes. And at a time in my life where I might feel like I have failed, I would rather take that and say, I'm going to learn from this opportunity instead of let it defeat me. The other quote that really spoke to me is, don't let your successes get swallowed up by distractions. And I think that's something that really spoke to me because, you know, he's talking about, okay, you're learning from your failures instead of your successes, but hopefully you will succeed. And then when you succeed, make sure that you know what your priorities are. Make sure that you know your core values so that when those successes do come around, you aren't tempted to go after something that might not be a part of what you're actually trying to do. And then last but not least, one of his quotes is saying that you need to understand the importance of always having a next. Success does not mean that you always have to have a bigger or a better. You just have to keep moving forward. And as somebody that just watched Meet the Robinsons not too long ago, that's the motto of the whole movie, is keep moving forward. And it just reminded me that, you know, whenever I finished my marathon, I was always like, okay, how am I going to top this? And same thing with, you know, Disney trips. You know, whenever you go on a trip or you have an amazing experience, you're always like, okay, well, how do I top that? And I think that it's very important to say, I may not top that, but I am going to always have a next thing, or I am going to always look for something else to do. And at this time in my life, obviously, like I had what I thought was the perfect job. And so now I'm like, how am I going to top that? And the answer might be I may not, you know, but I need to always have a next, and I need to always, you know, keep moving forward. And so that's why I've really been, you know, digging down on the blog. And, you know, the YouTube and the blog stuff may never take off. Like, people may never watch this. And I have come to settle in my heart that that's okay. Like, this may never succeed. But what it has done for me and my family, it has given me a next. It has given me a way to move forward. And it's also given me a way to clarify and give a purpose and structure and priorities to where our family wants to go. I mean, we're at like one of the best beginnings that you could ever possibly have with the birth of a child. And I know that everybody has these wonderful hopes and dreams of what their child could be, you know, when they grow up. But I'm focusing on the fact that, you know, I have all the wonderful, amazing, like, things that could be and can happen, you know, as she grows up and as we, you know, grow as a family. And it's the first time in my life where I have been more focused on the journey rather than the destination. Yeah, this book has just been the right book at the right time, and I highly suggest it. So again, if you want to read it, it's called The Wisdom of Walt. There's also Beyond the Wisdom of Walt, which is talking about Walt Disney World, and you can bet it is on my list here very soon. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for coming along on this journey with us, if you are watching. And we will see you guys next week.